Up, guys? Got the fresh cut. Feeling great. Happy to be here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
God dang.
Oh boy. Yeah, hopefully that's not too much skin for this stream. I'll do my best.
Yeah, absolutely. It brings out plenty of action, that's for sure. We'll see a huge shakeup. Those guys that we've seen at the top might not be there. Some guys towards the back might get a little lucky. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I definitely think based on how spicy our Div 1 race was last night, if we get anything close to that in this race, I think it's gonna be a great race. Yeah, it was not a fun time. I mean, the strategy call sort of worked out in the end, but oh man, was it pretty rough to begin with. Those first 5 laps, very sketchy, and yeah.
Mr. Doug, the people have spoken and said, we can't hear you. Oh, Doug's looking into getting his mic fixed, but yeah, we're here qualifying. We got 18 minutes left, so that'll be 3 minutes for our silver division, and the remaining 15 will be for the gold division. Came to you guys a little late here, but here's a quick look at the track map. It's a classic track, been around for quite a while. I can actually pull up my notes here. Track opened in 1986. It's 4.38 kilometers long. Formula One hosts the races here. Can hear you, Doug.
All
Okay.
right, tell me if this sounds good, everybody. Tyler says, it's better that way. That's so rude. To be fair, I've flamed him in past streams, so that makes sense. Not a good start for tonight, but I apologize. But just to start off, we will start from the top again. Welcome to SRA Division 3, Round 7 at Hungaroring. Yours truly, Douglas, shared on stage with Evan Kim and first-time commentator Brooker Quigg. And I made a very, very hilarious joke about Brooker's profile picture and how great his thighs look compared to Evan's thigh game that we saw in the reveal stream not too long ago. So y'all are asking for feet pics yesterday for the Doug Cam and D1. Well, you're getting a lot of thigh this week, so you're welcome. And then we went on to talk about how the weather was supposed to be quite wet, but Division 1 started off the race dry and subsequently went to wets halfway through, and Brooker was struggling on wet tires to begin with, and everyone was kind of just chomping at the bit to see what setup choices everyone's going to make, and Brooker ended up finishing pretty well despite his very slow start, but he was complaining about roasting his tires. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, and y'all can hear me, thank goodness. Evan, do you mind giving us a brief look at our track?
Got you down. Mentioned before, we're looking at a 1986 opening date. You might know this track from Formula One that hosts their races here. 4.38 kilometers, that's 2.7 miles for us in America. 14 turns, a lot of them twisting, turning, elevation changes, camber changes. It's going to be real tough here with the slippery conditions that we're hoping to see here in quality and race. Got to be really easy on the throttle, gentle with the steering inputs, and get around the track as fast as you can.
Brooker, is there a particular part of this track that you're quite fond of, or is the whole thing just genuinely a terrible experience?
It honestly really depends on what kind of car you're driving. I tend to, at least in the Porsche this year, I've very much enjoyed Sector 2. It's very quick through there, like a lot of front end grip, a lot of bite. So it's probably the funnest part of the track, is just always having to be interactive with the wheel and playing around with it. It's probably the funnest section of the track for me. You know, Sector 1 and Sector 3 are kind of just hairpins, and they're a little bit boring in my opinion, but to each their own, right?
To each their own. All right, let's get over to our race here. All right, there we go. All right.
Actually, a little bit of a fun fact, just while Evan was talking about the track details and stuff, it was actually fully built in only 8 months, which I found very interesting. I saw that first time.
Andrew Anderson's typically in the booth with us here in the D3 stream, and he always brings the exciting facts and whatnot. But we're going to do our best to try and compensate without him tonight. But that being said, I'm getting everything dialed in here. There we go. Let's find somebody on track that we can follow around here. Renzo's looking good. But I was told that the Hungaroring was built and they were looking at different places to build this track, and they wanted it built behind the Iron Curtain back in the Cold War eras. And they elected that Budapest was the place to be, despite wanting it to be deep into the Russian USSR at the time. So not too bad. But now this track is actually a pretty popular vacation spot. Like, it's a very big touristy part of this area. In fact, on some parts of the track you can actually see a water park in the background. So it's kind of making a name for itself. And it's right down the road from the Red Bull Ring, which is another very popular destination for the Formula One boys and girls. And we see Lorenzo taking a spill off the track there and collecting the wall. I think that is going to be a common theme tonight, not for Mr. Lorenzo specifically, but for all of our beloved drivers. They're going to be tested to the nth degree tonight. All right, let's take a brief look at our grid at the moment. So, as many are familiar, our Division 3 is split into two splits. We have silver and gold, and the silver split goes out first, and they set their 15 minutes of qualifying, and then once their 15 minutes of fame is done, the gold split goes out. So this is the gold batch of drivers, and at the top of the leaderboard right now is Mr. Butler, and he's pretty keen. He's pretty happy with himself right now. He's sitting in here very stoic, very proud of himself for being on top. But someone who's looking to break the top right now is Mr. Sarver. And Sarver was pretty adamant in the Discord this week about not being featured on stream because it's bad luck. So hopefully he's listening, and he can know that on this flying lap, as we go around the track, we're bringing him nothing but good luck this week.
Yeah, I like how we just, break it right out, right in the beginning. Just get the, hopefully, bad luck out of the way for him. It's always a little bit easier to make the mistake in qualifying versus in the race. So.
You have multiple chances at setting fast laps in qualifying. in the race, if you make a mistake, there's typically carnage or a loss of positions and some damage to your pride.
I know that one all too well. I made 2 costly mistakes last night, picked up a ton of damage, and torqued my race. So, yeah, really wish I did that in quality, to be honest. Yeah, hope Mr. Sarver gets around clean tonight. No ill will to that man.
Evan, you hinted at the fact that your car was feeling pretty awful last night. We were talking off camera this evening about which cars felt good in the rain, and about different tiered cars and BOP and whatnot. I think it's pretty safe to say that the Audi is the best car in the game right now, given that it's also the newest addition to the game. Kunos likes to do that, similar concept to the BMW M4 from seasons past. But what other cars do you think are going to be finding success this week?
I really like the Honda. It's kind of that similar style, mid-engine, got great acceleration and dig out of the corners. So here in the wet, while some of the other cars might be spinning their rears trying to get traction coming out, you want that weight over the rear tires, and if you can get going before your competitors, and it's a really tough track to pass, and if you can't do it on the straights, it's going to be real hard to get by you. I like the Audi first, and I'd put the Honda number 2.
Brooker, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Whelpcakes in the chat here saying that the Lexus is pretty strong, and actually the M4 as well. I don't personally have any experience with the M4. How does the wet? I know you, Doug, probably have a little bit more experience in it. I know the Porsche is quite strong in the wet a lot of time, personally speaking. But like if I was to pick a top car, I mean, Audi is hands above anything else in the game currently. So.
What I can comment on is that there are no Lexus drivers in our race today, so that is going to be irrelevant for this evening. However, I can comment on the M4, and I can tell you that it had nothing to do with the fact that I was successful in seasons 1 and 2. It came strictly down to how great of a driver I am personally. It wasn't the fact that the car was absolutely broken. Any feedback from you fellas? Nothing? No one's gonna put me in my seat? Yeah.
We'll say at least a portion is attributable to that cash that you gave to Colin Madiak at the season finale. But
I think what you meant to say was the speculative cash that was given to Colin Madiak at the end.
Okay, it hasn't been confirmed nor denied, but we know something fishy happened there. At least a portion. A little bit can be your driving skill, but a little bit's got to be that under the table something. We know something happened there. It's got to be something.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Also, Whelpcakes in the comments giving some love to the Bentley. I think Evan would argue that the Bentley feels terrible in the wet, but
it's the worst car. The weight is so far forward with that thing. It understeers through the corners, and when you try to get on the gas, there's nothing at all there. It's just spinning the rears. It's so bad.
Well, that being said, Flo just went up pretty high in the leaderboard, but another driver that we were on previously, Jitesh, puts it on pole by a healthy margin. He with a 154.8. The previous pole time of Josh Revis Butler was a 155.1, and Jitesh says, "I'm fine with that. I'm gonna go back to my my spot here in the grid, and we'll figure out the rest later." Gutierrez sitting in P4 at the moment. He's down on his time, so we'll check back in on him, but P4 is very respectable there. Another driver that's miles ahead on their lap right now, currently in Sector 2, is Kyle Miller in the Ghost Rider Racing M4. He's currently 0.6 up on his time.
That's a very healthy margin to be up on a time. So let's hope he can make it through these last couple corners and keep it together.
Into that braking zone, he gained 0.3 also. So it was at 1 second, but he had a pretty sketchy exit. So we're back crawling around the 9/10 margin here. Get that power down, Mr. Miller. Take this corner nice and smooth.
Yeah, if you can get the power down, should be a healthy lap.
8/10 improvement. That puts him to P3. We'd love to see that.
Wow.
That's a good lap.
Clearly, this guy knows what he's doing. Evan, you mind giving us a walkthrough on this lap while we're watching his onboard?
Yes, sir. Breaking a straight line hard, turn 1. Be patient on the throttle here. It's a lot longer of a corner than it looks. Coming down the hill here. Gotta trail the brakes in, be real smooth. Same thing, gentle picking up the throttle out of here. Be as brave as you can be through here. Try to keep the throttle down. Tricky one here, you gotta line it up, take a lot of this inside curve. Mr. Kyle decides not to. Trail the brakes in, same thing. It's gonna be a repeating theme here. Gentle on the throttle, but get to it as quick as you can. Chicane here. You can play with those curbs, but it's gonna be sketchy here in the rain. Kind of float the car in through the left-hander, coast your way through the right. Try to keep the speed through this left-hander and the right as well. And you can pick up the throttle a little early here. That's a good exit from Kyle. Straight 90-degree right turn, hard brakes, get the car rotated. Almost there, left-hand hairpin. Try to hug it tight in the rain here. And the last corner, this thing is very tricky. It's long, and you gotta find your throttle point. Looks like you did a great job there. Doesn't improve on his lap time. He was a little off of his best lap, but not a bad showing there from Kyle. Still sitting P3. Nobody's taking it from him.
Unfortunately for him, we were on board for his worst lap. It was nearly 2 seconds slower than what he's acclimated to. So keep pushing, my friend. In the midst of his performance there, I was keeping a keen eye on Mr. Austin Sawyer from Thick Boys. And what I can tell you is that Mr. Sawyer won last week at Paul Ricard by a mere 30-second margin. Basically, he walked away from the grid. Looking to repeat again this week, but I know firsthand that Mr. Sawyer put in very little practice this week, and we have the added variable of wet weather. Let's see if he can, what he can amount with such little dedication to practice this week.
I mean, he just put a P3 lap in, so that's definitely a good start for him.
No kidding. Another driver making stark improvement right now is Daniel Gutierrez, another very common occurrence on the top of D3 here. Currently up, but it looks like there's some traffic in front of him that gets out of the way, but it looks like it slowed him down a couple tenths. Still improving despite, and the margins at the top of D3 right now are so tight that a couple tenths could gain you a couple positions. What are you thinking right now as you're Mr. Revis Butler in P2, where you have all these drivers chomping at the bit to get past you? It looks like the track is drying out a little bit, so that's going to be benefiting some other drivers. What do you think he's thinking in the pit row right now?
I wonder if he's thinking his just over race strategy here. I mean, with a minute left, not much you can do except wait, see how it plays out in qualifying, see if anyone gets above you. But really just thinking about your race, thinking about a little bit of a strategy, how you kind of want to play out. I mean, there's always the factor for something weird happening in the race like we did yesterday, but I think just kind of preparing yourself for what's to come. An hour in the rain is quite a long time, and you need to have your nerves under you for sure.
Without a doubt. While on board, Mr. Gutierrez does gain those few tenths, and he shoots himself up to P3. Sawyer was on a good lap and then ended up backing out of it. Maybe looking to push for that final quick lap. I don't know where he is on track, if he's going to be able to. Yeah, he will. With just 10 seconds remaining, he's going to start his final lap here. Other drivers improving. Another very formidable driver in D3 who finds himself on the podium quite a bit is OMG. It's Pav, currently 6/10 up on his lap, nearing 7/10, rounding the final corner. Gets a good exit, crosses the line. P2. That's a very common occurrence for him.
Wow. It's very good.
Promise, though, that Austin Sawyer is going to try and clap back. He's 3/10 up. These two are your typical 1-2. So OMG It's Pav is in position, but Gtesh in P1 right now is looking very comfortable. That's his best qualifying ever. Let's see if Sawyer can try and steal it from him. He's going to have to do something pretty crazy through the latter portions of this lap here in order to manifest that. But right now he is 4/10 up, which would be enough to get pretty damn close to pole.
He's definitely hooking it up pretty good so far through Sector 2 here.
From the helicopter camera, it's a little bit easier to see. There is a dry line forming. Unfortunately for the silver split, they weren't given that luxury, but the gold drivers are out and they're taking full advantage.
Oh,
You hate to see it.
Fortunate. Yeah, that curbing definitely take its toll on you if you catch too much of it.
We have other drivers on track. Aoki just teleports to the grid. All right. So, gentlemen, we're looking at a common thread at the top with OMG It's Pav, Gutierrez, Sawyer. But we have some other names up here that we would otherwise not be acclimated with. Gtesh, Revis Butler, even Kyle Miller doing a really great job. But Passage also is a relatively new face to the league, and he finds himself in P7. And I've never seen this driver before, but in P10 we have D. Bonderi, car number 757 in a McLaren, who's found himself in the top 10. What a way to start your experience with SRA, huh?
I'd be pretty stoked if I was him. I actually caught a little bit of his flying lap that put him up to P10. It looked like he had a couple more tenths left in the tank too. He got a little squirrely coming out of the last corner, coming to the start-finish line. So he might have some serious pace, and to come in here first race with the league, nerves are high, but he's showing that he's got something cooking.
You got $20 in your pocket. Who are you putting the money on tonight, boys?
Pav.
That's a
Without
safe
a doubt.
bet. That's a safe bet. Brooker, I know you're not too familiar with D3, that being your first time, but if you had to take a shot in the dark, who's your favorite?
Honestly, I think it's actually really tough. I just looked at the race, and it doesn't appear like there's any rain, unfortunately.
You're not
So
kidding.
I think it could be a really big mix. I mean, qualifying was set based on wet track, and it's going to be who can adapt and you know, drive it in the rain or in the dry. Sorry, unless I'm wrong here on the weather, but
You are not wrong. The widget says that the track is green. That's because it was raining, so the track is not nearly up to temperature. But the widget says in the next 30 minutes it is just going to be cloudy, not a drop of rain, which is unfortunate because we wanted to see some of these drivers tested to the limit. We like to have 2 rain races a season, but who knows? Who knows what we'll be able to get out of this year. But that being said, race is going to start here in about 8 seconds. We're going to have a full formation lap for our grid tonight. Another great, healthy grid tonight of 29 cars. Let's see if anyone forfeits their ability to start and starts in the pit lane. And it looks like Mr. Clint Zaris in the 115 McLaren claims himself and finds himself in the pits. Forgot to click drive. There's always one. There's always one.
It's so unfortunate. It's always a tough way to start a race.
Are you guys seeing in the chat right now? It's saying that, bro, the D2 race is dry too. The variables that we set for this race had in the practice server rain almost every single session. There were only a handful of sessions that were dry. But I don't know what these drivers were praying to, what kind of pagan gods, but the rain, it stayed away. Admin's rigged. Thanks, Brooker. I don't know what you're talking about. There's not a single admin racing in these races, so we have nothing to gain, I promise. But hey, I guess what this means for us is that we're going to have some really close racing here, and we can hope that because there is no rain, we can have some really good on-track battles.
Yeah,
You never know. The rain might be coming later. Don't have the forecast out that far, so it's not over yet.
Keep a keen eye on that widget there, boys. Hopefully someone's doing a rain dance. I know I am.
I am. I would love to see some rain come after that 30-minute mark, especially if it's just after the pit window. It's really gonna, throw people a curveball, and I guess we'll have to see if people decide to try to stick it out on the slicks for the positions or take wets for drivability.
People love to say how there's only one viable strategy. Well, right now, if rain is outside of this 30-minute forecast, I don't know about you, but maybe in the back of my mind saying, well, the probability of rain's pretty high. Maybe I only take half fuel and dedicate the chance of taking new tires in the pit stop just in case it does rain. But a lot of these drivers probably just took the full boat, and if it rains, it's going to really throw them for a loop.
I
Yeah,
didn't
for
even
sure.
think about that as an option, but that's pretty smart actually. Try to take the half and half, knowing that you might change tires anyways. That's something special right there. You need to be micro chief, Doug.
Not last night, where I elected to just park it in the pit lane because I was too lazy to drive around another lap, and I lost like maybe 15 to 20 race seconds. I thought it was going to be a big brain, but boy, was it a smooth brain moment. You hate to see it. But as we see the drivers rounding the final corner here, no need to fret. Collision is off until we cross this line, but we are going to be underway here shortly. Green, green, green. SRA is underway, and here we go. Gutierrez gets an amazing run on Pav. Butler already up the inside. G-Tesh away clean. Gutierrez. Oh my goodness, Gutierrez, Sawyer, and Pav going 3 wide. 4 wide behind that. A little bit of bumping. Oh, Evan, there's a car perpendicular at the back of the grid.
Oh no.
Absolute carnage. Butler able to take P1 away from G-Tesh into the first couple corners here. Again, cars further back going 3 wide. There's not enough room for that, boys. A little bit of bumping and grinding here. G-Tesh off the grass. Oh my goodness. Sarver off in the grass. BMW around.
Oh, it's a mess.
There's an entire group of cars, yellow flag. The previous leaders now swallowed up. Butler is away clean. I have to kind of gauge myself here. Butler away with 2-second gap. He's loving this. Pav following behind. Sawyer behind. Gutierrez, Miller, and then the carnage ensues. Miller directly behind his passage. Behind them, Rodrix and Flo able to get rid of that, get out of that mess clean. I think a lot of these drivers are driving the track as if it's dry. It's not. It's green. There's no traction. Flo going up the inside of Rodrix. Not able to get the move done. Dan Meyer, fan favorite, stuck with the drive-through from the start. That is horrible. GTG in the pits probably to repair the massive amount of damage he got from getting collected earlier. A gaggle of cars further back. This group is Clenceris, who started from the pits, avoided all that carnage, probably, maybe for the best.
That might have been the biggest brain move play ever, coming out a little bit late, just being able to miss all that.
Several drivers you can see electing to go into the pits to fix damage. That is rough start for a lot of these poor people. Dan Meyer, OMG, it's Pav in the pits, GTG, Mike Michelli. Oh man, you hate to see it, but the race continues. Gitesh went from pole, and he's now losing back down to P10. I don't know if he was prepared for this. He was clearly prepared for wets, but the dry is not looking like he's that comfortable. As Sawyer, yellow flag. Evan, give it to me.
Where'd he go?
He's all the way down to... Oh my goodness.
Did he
disconnect?
Sawyer, I think he just disconnected.
Well then. A crowd favorite, ladies and gentlemen, is gone from the race. I would have lost $20.
It's going to have a big impact, I think, on the championship.
No kidding.
No doubt.
Actually, not, but
the championship leaders were Pav and Sawyer, and both of which Pav is in 5th from last, and Sawyer's out of the session. I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but he is gone. Back to the session at hand here, we have, looking at the McLaren, we have the Aoki in front, and then we're on board with Dawai Banderi in the 757 McLaren, followed closely by Sarver. Sarver, yes, he had a moment on lap 1, but he's still in P11. Keep it up, buddy. Commentator's curse is not claiming you quite yet. Behind Sarver is Burtis with the KFC McLaren. And behind that is Sky. Sky and the Audi looking very strong right now. Let's see how the braking zone happens. Yep, I figured the Audi's going to be really strong.
Boy. Yellow flag for Lorenzo and Rodriguez here coming into turn 1. Let's see what happens.
I see Rodriguez going backwards across the track. That is sketchy at best.
Ooh. Looks like Lorenzo just came in way too hot there and gave him the old punterino.
Rodriguez was in the booth for our D1 stream for the first time last night. Appreciate his contribution to the league, but yeah, we don't want him getting punted. That is unfortunate. Back up at the grid, Josh Butler is 3 seconds ahead of P2, Daniel Gutierrez. You can see him just on the top of your screen driving onto the back straight. Followed by, we're on board right now with Ryan Passage in the Ferrari. He's chasing Kyle Miller, and he's being chased by Flo.
I've been watching this for a couple laps, last couple laps here. They've actually been really close, and it's going to be interesting to see if any of them can make a move, and then if the third car can kind of get involved and make this battle 3 wide.
We've been able to reset a little bit. Evan, who are our big winners and big losers at the moment?
Oh, Mr. Butler, current leader, he's got to be the biggest winner right now. But in terms of positions, Connor Farrell up 15 spots, sitting in P13 right now. Clint Serres up 10, sitting P19. Biggest loser, OMG, it's Pav, down 22 positions. He's sitting in P24 right now. Got a lot of work to do there.
We know he has the pace.
Oh, Butler, yellow flag.
He's around.
The curbing, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
A lazy
Off the
spin.
inside curve.
Oh, collects the wall, and his front arrow is going to be messed up. Rivas, lick your wounds and get back out there. Falling from P1 down to P7 at the moment. It's early on in the race to have that kind of damage, but you can get it fixed eventually. As we have here, Passage, Miller, and Flo going to battle. Now that Rivas Butler has fallen down. Gutierrez assumes P1. 2-second gaps to Miller, who's the BMW in the picture now. This is now a fight for podium. Evan can stay on board here. I'm going to go back on board with Burtis and Gavin Thomas here. And there seems to be a back marker there, really slow. Parking on the apex while cars going around. Gavin has to be a big winner. He's sitting in P9 attacking Sarver. I'm sure the Bentleys are happy that the water went away.
Oh, yes. Yep. Gavin Thomas up 12 positions, qualified P21. He's in the top 10 now. It's in P9.
You love to see that. There are people in the mix looking to take this position from him, but holding himself well at the moment. Brooker, any action in the chat that we need to be cognizant of?
Yeah, I was just taking a look. Nothing too much. A couple people definitely looking at all the wrecks and understanding that that's not a very good thing for some of the drivers that they're watching for. So I think we can all agree on that there's a lot going on.
You hate to see it.
That was a wild start, and my 20 bucks on Mr. Pav might have gone down the drain there.
Might have. If he wins this race, there's some... He needs to go to D1, let alone D2. But no kidding, Lucas Clenceres starting from the pit, now up to P15, clearly showing he's got the pace. Benefited from missing the carnage at the beginning. Looking to just continue to gain positions. Further ahead, we have the battle of what looks like 5 cars. We have Gurjar in the 200 McLaren, followed by, that's the red McLaren up front, by the purple Audi of Sky. And then we have Rodrix recovering from his previous collision. And then Menzies short behind in that purple McLaren. There's quite the train forming. Oh, just as I switch over, Sky is able to sneak up the inside.
A nice move there. Saw a door open, slid right through.
And side by side down to turn 1.
Oh, ooh, a little bump rub there down the straight.
Hitting him with the flashes, saying, hey, Rubbin is not racing. Quig, we cut you off, buddy. What do you had to say?
No, I was just going to say Miller and Passage are still dueling it out over P2 here. They've been nose to tail for the last couple laps. So that battle's still going on. It's looking pretty tight.
We'll jump on board with Mr. Miller. Over the back of his wing here. No kidding, Passage is right there, and behind Passage is Flo. You can't get any closer than this. You can see the samurai on Passage's hood, looking to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies.
Hey, he did a great job with that livery. The samurai, that looks so sick.
I was gonna say this is quite a hard track to pass too, especially if there's no huge straight line difference in the cars. Really have to almost rely on the person in front of you to make a mistake and then capitalize on it. 'Cause you really only have this straight here to make a real proper move.
This and the back straight in Sector 3 where you can kind of just outbrake somebody. But yeah, this is a very difficult track to pass at. Especially right now, we're almost 15 minutes into the race. The forecast hasn't changed one bit. The track has upgraded from green to fast, though. So drivers are going to find a little bit more grip. But rain is not in the picture at the moment. These drivers are going at it. Further back, we have Sky and Roderick still battling. Clenceris still putting a lot of pressure on Menzies after battling through the field. And then Dan Meyer putting a lot of pressure on McGinnis. Let's have a look here. The Audi's going to show its wheels on the straight here, but the hood is a bouncing. The White Castle logo is jiving down the straight. Oh my goodness, an absolute near miss. McGinnis almost gets plastered. Luckily, Dan Meyer able to miss. McGinnis is probably reeling from the fear there. McGinnis lets him by, probably for the best. Says, Dan Meyer, clearly you want this position pretty bad. Have it your way. As we see, OMG, it's Pav go into the wall behind. Let's take a look at what happened here. He's just making his way around. Gets a great run. Hits that curb.
It's the curb again. Catching quite a few people out tonight.
Those marshals that were standing there didn't even bat an eye when Asmarn comes careening towards them. Very brave. Pav is going to continue to lick his wounds. Clenceris here is putting the pressure again on Lorenzo here. It looks like Lorenzo was able to get past from what I'm looking at. Maybe he had a moment and he's just able to get back. Further up ahead, always trying to catch up on the different battles. We have Thomas on Sarver. I know Sarver's streaming right now. I'm sure his audience is just saying, go, go, go. Escape this Bentley behind. But Gavin's going to keep him honest. Correct me.
Without a doubt. And remember earlier, Sarver had that contact, so he's nursing some damage here.
Speaking of nursing, correct me if I'm wrong, Gavin's still recovering from an appendix surgery, is that right?
That is correct. We're wishing him the best of recoveries. Seems like he's made it back, and maybe a little... Oh, Clenceris coming up on Lorenzo here. Not quite enough, but yeah, Gavin Thomas seems to be making an astounding comeback to the league, the top 10 position right now. He was out for a few weeks, took a break from the rig. We were wishing him the best, and yeah, it looks like he's coming back with a little extra mustard on.
I think a top 10 finish will definitely help as a form of medicine, as he finds himself in P8 right now. I see people in the chat asking about whether this is a 3-tier race or not. We have 2 splits. You have the gold split, which has the white number plates. And then you have the silver split, which is the gray number plates. And then you see the third color, the red number plate. Those are new drivers to the league, so they have yet to be placed in a specific split. We here at SRA have a driver placement system and the SRA rating, as Gavin kicks it out of the back of Mr. Sarver there. Those red number plates indicate that they have yet to be assigned, but promise that they're going to be around long enough to be assigned shortly. It takes about 3 races. Further up the grid, Passage, Flo. I see you still have Flo in the picture-in-picture still battling with Passage. And Clenceris and Lorenzo are still trading places. And Clenceris is putting immense pressure on Sky. As we see that, he spins him around. Sky does a pirouette. Little sus, like Among Us. But at the end of the day, Sky is going to be able to recover. Jack Patch is catching up swiftly. Gets past, so does Casey, gets past. Sky is reeling right now, trying to make himself a very safe recovery, which is respectful. And we have a back marker of what looks like, I think that's Michele passing him. Newcomer Banderi here putting some pressure on. Who is that in front?
Oh no.
Kay Miller in front. Brooker, what's got your attention?
Just Miller out front battling for P2 and P3 with Passage. Just lost it on the last corner, unfortunately. Looked like he spun up the rear end and hit the wall.
That
I
is
think
unfortunate.
Could have seen it in the picture-in-picture. But yeah, that's unfortunate for him for sure.
Very unfortunate. While we were on board here with Mr. Banderia, we saw a couple Ferraris totally miss their braking zones. One of which was Ken Miller, newcomer, and then we had some other Ferraris going off. I think that was that of Jack Patch. But that being said, we have a very damaged Aston of Matt Cassie here chasing down Jack Patch in the Ferrari in front. As you see, he's able to get up the inside, just braver on the brakes there, able to make the move done, nursing that car. There's only 7 minutes left to the pit window. Evan, what should drivers expect during the pit window?
I don't know. I'm catching this replay here of Gavin Thomas. Same mistake we've seen all night, catching a little too much of that inside curb. His top 10 is falling down to P12, unfortunately. I'm sorry, what was your question one more time, Doug?
What should drivers expect during the pit window? What are the regulations they need to follow?
All that is required is at least 1 liter of refueling. Tires are optional. If you want to refuel the car more than the 1 liter minimum, you're welcome to do that. But you must, no matter what you do in the pits, take 1 liter of fuel in the middle 10 minutes of the race. I personally, if I'm not seeing any rain in the forecast, I'm taking my 1 liter and praying to Jesus. But we'll see. Maybe it might be wise to delay your pit stop just to get an extra couple of minutes of forecast predictions for you to see if it's going to rain towards the end of the race or not. But we'll have to see. I know a lot of these guys are driving with damage right now, so they might be a little bit more eager to get in the pits early and get that fixed up. It's going to be interesting to see. You always got to keep your eyes on that weather forecast. That's going to be the real game changer here, I think, for choosing a pit strategy.
No kidding. A lot of decisions to be made on whether you want to take the risk on the weather or not, but I think it's safe to say at this point that we're going to have clear weather for the rest of this race. Speaking of clear, we have a Gurjar coming off the track, getting back on in a nice way, but he's under duress from Boisenalt now. Gurjar putting immense pressure on Gavin Thomas in the Bentley ahead, but right behind is Clenceris in P15, hungry to continue to gain positions. There are little packs all over the track. If you look at the mini map in the top right, you can see just little packs. The only thing that is not being affected right now is Daniel Gutierrez in P1 with a 6-second margin. He's already about to round turn 1. The rest of the grid is just passing the finish line. So he's pretty comfortable right now at this stage in the race.
I think he really bought himself some time while Passage, Flo, and Miller were having that three-way battle for what seemed like, I don't know, 7-8 laps. It seemed like they were all trying to cover each other off and fight, and Gutierrez in clean air just bolted away. So now he's got a little cushion to work with. That's going to make his race a lot easier on himself.
We're on board with this train just plowing down the start-finish straight here. Are people going to be making some moves? Looks like Boisenalt was brave on the brakes. He gets up the inside of Gurjar. Gurjar goes wide. Boisenalt gets a much better run. Able to get that move done.
I wonder if he's going to fight back here. Next car.
Boisenalt goes a little wide, so Gurjar able to gain some momentum back, but definitely out and away. But now Gurjar has to worry about Clenceris behind.
Clenceris has been hanging, and I think he saw Boisenalt go through there, and he knows Gurjar might be a fresh meat here. Here he goes.
That was as narrow as it gets, but Clenceris able to sneak by. Brooker, you, oh no, as Gurjar punts him for good measure, says, if you're going to get by me, it's going to come at a cost. Here's
There's
some
no free pass.
amen. Here's some diffuser damage, well, for good measure. But you were hinting at the fact that Brooker, that this is a very tough track to pass at. We're finding that to be quite evident here. A lot of trains forming without a lot of moves getting done.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like I can't even describe really how you even set up to try and make a pass without, just taking too much risk, because you never want to take too much risk and potentially ruin your own race as well as someone else's. But at the same time, I mean, sometimes just kind of getting your nose in there a little bit to see if you can make the person in front nervous and force them into a mistake is sometimes a good option. Let's see if anyone can kind of use that to their advantage.
As you say that, Boyd's not able to use that to their advantage as he gets down the inside, but Gavin gets a good little switchback momentum run here, and they're going to be wheel to wheel here into the following corners here. Boyd's not still brave on the brakes. Clencera says, I can try and sneak up the inside a second time here, and a little bit too ambitious as he takes out the rear end of Gavin Thomas. We caught that right in time. Gavin needs to get back on track, needs to be thinking about where he's coming back into the battle here. We have a Porsche and a BMW. I think these are back markers, so Gavin's finding himself in a position between cars that are very much out of position for him. I think this is the battle of Ruzik and GTG, if I'm not mistaken, which are a lap down. That being said, we're about a minute out from our pit stop window being open. As Connor Farrell has a moment, let's take a look 15 seconds back. Oh, I was on the wrong car. Oh, I just switched over. Connor Farrell's just in the gravel trap there. But that is a-okay. Yeah, he's nursing some damage. He can't even keep it on track at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking at chat here, C-Jack saying Passage has cut Gutierrez's lead by 1.5 seconds in 2 laps. So those 3 cars, I think Miller and Passage and Flo could be catching and making a 4-way battle.
We would love to see something like that. As we see Sarver and Rodrix in the picture-in-picture battling it out pretty good. And OMG, it's Pav putting immense pressure on Sky ahead.
The pit is now open.
You heard it here first, folks. The pit window is open. Let's see if anyone elects to dive in right off the bat.
Do you guys have a preferred strategy for your pit stops? A personal preference, I guess?
Given normal conditions, I usually just take 1 liter at the very end of the pit window if I can. But knowing that there might, I guess the forecast still doesn't say rain, but you never know, that could change at any moment's notice. I guess I'm sticking to my earlier strategies. Stay out as long as you can. Try to buy yourself as much breathing room. Try to extend your weather forecast as long as you can. Make sure you don't need to put on some wet tires. Yeah, just take that 1 liter and get going as fast as you can.
As you say
what about
that,
you, Brooker?
I personally like the same as you. Go as late as possible. Like you want to know what's going to happen later in the race, but also you want to make sure that I mean, sometimes it can open up for clean air too, right? Like how I was talking about, it's difficult to pass here, and if you're struggling to get by someone and you maybe have a little bit more pace, staying out that little bit longer, you might get that clean air to be able to put in those fast laps and make up a position or 2. So I definitely favor towards waiting as long as you can. But then, I mean, there's conditions with damage and everything too, so sometimes it's up to the driver to see how they're feeling.
It's all about time management, right? If you have someone in front, get out of there and go pit. If you got clean air, keep pushing. We have Trackalicious in the chat, another great North American ACC League. Hello, welcome to the SRA. You're a common occurrence in the chat. We love to see that. That rhymed. That was pretty cool. As we see Boysenalt attacking Menzies here, able to get by. An aggressive line over the curbing there. And another question here was some lap times. Right now, the best lap time of the race is a 147.5 by OMG It's POV, but the standard deviation here is looking at like high 47s, low 48s is your track times right now at the front of the grid. At the back, it's looking like 150s, low 149s is what you're looking at. That's pretty quick. I mean, we are in the dry, so I'm a little bit skewed. I don't know the dry times around here too well because we did our race almost entirely in wet conditions, but these drivers are cooking. And Trackless is asking, how are we doing? I will speak for my two counterparts. We're having a blast.
It's an awesome race and so much action early. Really shaked up the field a lot. I mean, the guys that we all expected to be up at the front are now fighting in the midfield, and got some new names here towards the top. Passage, P2, Kativ Car, P3. Even Roderick's I know is relatively new, P4. So good to see some fresh names here at the top.
Clearly these drivers are able to capitalize on what would otherwise be weird circumstances. And we were on board with Aoki putting some big pressure on Dan Meyer here now on the start-finish straight. Dan Meyer taking a very inside line, and then he shoots back over to the braking line there. Aoki just minding his own business, gets a great run out of here. Most of the battles have subsided because the pit window's open, but people are starting to find themselves back near each other once more.
Hey, Doug, do you want to find Dan Meyer here? Just Qualifier Mayo is just looking to get a little action on fan favorite driver.
Oh yeah, he's about. Dan Meyer's being attacked by Aoki right now. What we can do is over the back we have the Thrustmaster wing of this Tre Ragazzi Audi, and the commentators curse right as you say it. He's battling side by side with Aoki in the Nissan, and he loses a position to him. That's just bad luck.
I think that was a commentator curse.
It is. And That's Egg is also saying, nah, my fan favorite is Goat Tierras. Well, I think that's a safe bet right now. He is 15 seconds clear of the grid right now.
Wow, just pulling on them all.
He's coming up to some traffic, though, so that might be a cause for concern. But right now, he's in clean. He's smooth sailing, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I mean, Dan Meyer is still wanting to get that position back from Aoki. Dan Meyer has yet to pit. Aoki in front has pitted, so they're on different strategies, but Dan would love to flex his muscles here, saying, hey, I can fight up top too. You see there that, who are we on board with right now? Where are we at on the timing sheets? Yeah, that was C. Burtis that just exited the pits. That's what I was trying to do there. Another battle on track is Sarver on Sky. Is that who you're on board with right now, Evan?
Yep, I'm hanging right off the bonnet here of Sarver coming down the start-finish straight.
Pav able to get past McGinnis here. Pav still on the recovery. He has the fastest lap right now with the 47 flat. He was nursing some damage, but he's out of the pits. Now it's just head down, put some crazy lap times, and hope for the best. For those not familiar with ACC, how the HUD works, you can see next to the driver numbers on the scoreboard there. The green box means that they have pitted. The orange box with the 1 in it means that they have yet to pit. And with only 2 minutes and 39 seconds remaining, drivers are running out of time to get there.
Yeah, all 4 of the top guys actually currently at the moment still need to pit in the next 2.5 minutes. So it could switch up the top of the leaderboard here in the next little bit.
Speaking of mixing some stuff up, drivers exiting the pits, now entering into the midst of a battle. Aoki in the Nissan chasing Boisenalt in the BMW in front. And that was Menzies that just came out, following Flo and Clenceris ahead.
I know we talked about it a little bit, but I think we can for sure say that unfortunately it will be a dry race till the end now. The ticker is not showing any rain in the next 26 minutes left.
A little bummed about that. Oh, here we go. Here's Aoki.
As you came on board, he went for a move, a little bit aggressive over the curbing there, and lost some much needed traction out of that corner. But he's going to fight back. Right now he has to get past the back marker and take the battle back to Boisenalt there. The front 4 all blink simultaneously. They're in the pits. Jitesh making his recovery. He was on pole, if you all remember, and he went down the pecking order to like 10th or 11th after some bizarre antics at the beginning. But he is back up to the top of the field here after the pit windows have subsided. Good recovery drive.
I was going to say something must have happened with Gutierrez because he lost. I feel like he lost out quite a bit going through the pits there. I don't know if traffic caught him out.
Something.
Traffic, or I wonder if he did the half and half fuel, thinking that maybe he needed wet tires, and maybe the rest of the field took a full boat at the start and only put in the 1 liter.
He was stopped for 32 seconds versus his counterparts,
Oh.
so he definitely took new tires. That had to have been the case.
Interesting choice.
The other drivers, like Kyle Miller at the top here in P1, only stopped for a total of 6 seconds. So, I mean, that's a huge time lost compared to your competitors.
That is.
Yeah, similarly, Jitesh only stopped for 12 seconds. Passage, 13 seconds. So that's where your time loss is. But, I mean, Gutierrez has got some work to do. Not to say that he can't, but he's got to make up that time. But technically speaking, he should have fresh tires, and that should give him some mega pace. And Pacific Northwest Sim Sport, a new person in the community here, welcome, makes a very astute observation. Do you guys notice that there are 2 drivers on our leaderboard right now that have yet to pit and missed the pit window entirely?
Oh, there is.
That's not good.
You know what that means at the end of the race, right?
I don't remember what the penalty is exactly, but I know it's a big one.
I believe it's, I want to say 130 seconds?
That's exactly right. 130 seconds.
Good lord.
Basically an entire lap.
Wow.
That's a fat penalty. Oh my goodness. That was Jitesh having an absolute moment. Passage able to get past quickly. But yeah, Jitesh has an absolute moment. He was battling so well at the front. Hops over that curb, gets kicked out to the left, and then smacks that wall.
Oh, man.
It's unfortunate.
Not good for the program, as Evan and I would like to say. Now he has to nurse front aero damage for another 22 minutes. That's going to be brutal. The rest of the
It'd
grid,
be very difficult.
especially on the Ferrari, it's very aero dependent. Butler, after leading the race for the first portion of our race here, is now fighting back, putting some immense pressure on Jan Roderick's in the Beamer. He's fighting for P6 here at the moment. You can see the hood bouncing on Mr. Butler's Honda here. He's nursing some damage. All right, we're about 2/3 way through this race. Everything's shaken out. Mr. Miller is currently in P1. Ghost Rider Racing proud. 5 seconds clear of the field of P2 of Passage, and then 4 seconds further back is Flo in P3. Flo is having a quiet race, just kind of doing his own thing, hanging out on the podium there. Not a bad situation. But this is not how I thought the race would go. I thought we were going to have wet, and we were going to have some different names up top, but this is really boiled down to something completely different.
Yeah, it's funny. We almost thought with potentially with the dry weather that the quick people would stay out front, and here we are with a dry race and different names out front. It wasn't the mix we were planning for, but we got a mix, and I think it's good to see. It's fun, seeing different people out front, and it's good for confidence as well going forward.
D3 is our least experienced division, and I think that lack of experience typically lends itself to being, having a little bit more difficult time adapting to these unique circumstances. But I think clearly there's some people that have been able to really hit the nail on the head, and then there's been some other people that just got caught up by it quite significantly. Kudos to those that were able to really take these curveballs well and manage the race accordingly. We're currently on board with Philip Menzies here in P10 with the 197 McLaren. It's the purplish pink one in the middle of your screen. He's chasing down Boysenalt in P9 in the BMW, and behind is Aoki in the Nissan, the lone Nissan.
I actually wish we saw more Nissans in the field. In my opinion, it's a very good looking car, and I know it's not the quickest, but it's quite nice to drive, especially if you can control the throttle inputs on it.
I've given it a shot, and I really struggle with the oversteer in that car. And I find the steering is very, very unique in its feel, but I know it is quick. We've had a couple of GTR drivers in the league that seem to make it work. Mr. Aoki being one of them here tonight. So kudos to him. Maybe making a name for the Nissan, get other people to try it in future seasons. We'll have to see what happens.
As you see, Aoki having an absolute moment.
Oh my.
It is almost 100% hit rate with the commentator's curse, man.
Well, you were talking about how you're having a hard time driving the Nissan, and then it rears its ugly head.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe don't drive the GCR, guys. It's
Just know what you're getting yourself into if that was the case. We've made jokes about commentators' curse, so why not hop on board with Steven Sarver? He's chasing down Pav. He actually just got past Pav because Pav had himself a moment, and now he's chasing down Gavin Thomas. How fitting would it be? More cursing here. but I hope not for Mr. Sarver's case here. He's putting together a pretty good performance, sitting in P13. But keeping Pav at bay is going to be difficult. Pav has the fastest lap time of the race with a 47 flat. The best that Sarver's been able to manage is a 49.1. That's a 2-second difference.
Wow. Pacific Northwest pointed out in the chat that rain is expected in the next 30 minutes now, which is potentially a little too late. But there's always the chance of it coming a little bit early and making the last couple minutes interesting here.
I want to say
that would be spicy.
Yeah, I wanted to say that the graphic in yesterday's race said rain in 30 minutes, and it showed up in like 15. So fingers crossed that we have the last couple laps with some moisture on track. That would be interesting, to say the least. And Daddy Tyler, super admin in the chat, saying that Reva's back up to P6. He's only 5/10 behind Jan Roderick's in P5. Can you show us that battle, Evan, while I stay on board with Sarver? Because he's putting the sauce on Mr. Thomas here.
Yeah, here I'm inside of Mr. Butler's car. Getting the draft on Roderick's coming down to turn 1.
That Audi is so good down the straight.
Oh, it's got legs
Actually,
for days.
He's the NSX, isn't he? Sorry. Still a rocket ship, though.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
You can just pretend you were talking about Sarver on screen, right?
Yes, yeah.
That Audi, let me tell you.
Yeah. Rocket ship.
It's got legs for days, like my 2 commentating brethren. See what I did there?
Thank you,
Hit me up
Doug.
in TM if you want picks later.
Well, now we're talking. The beauty of being a commentator, you get the side action. Pacific Northwest saying that he doesn't like racing in the rain because he gets rain for 10 months out of the year in Seattle. Well, I mean, gathering from your username, Pacific Northwest, I gathered you're from that region, and yeah, it rains quite a bit up there. That's a big no from me. Pass on all that rain and all that gray weather.
I can feel for that. I'm up on the Pacific Northwest as well, and it's honestly like 4 months of rain. No sun. It's, yeah, you get tired of it pretty quick. That's for sure.
Pop taking a gander at Sarver on the outside, but Sarver able to hold him off. Gavin Thomas is struggling to keep both at bay, taking a defensive line here. All drivers very close. Pav sticking around the outside. That's not, again, this track is proving itself to be very difficult to pass at. Pav has mega pace. He's just stuck behind these other 2 drivers. You can see he's just pushing so hard.
Further up the field, the battle for the lead is only 3/10. Ryan Passage making moves on Kyle Miller.
Quig, you said that someone in the chat was saying that Passage was making moves on Miller, and they were right. To the tune of a few seconds per lap. The best lap time from Passage is a 47.4. The best from Mr. Miller is a 48.7. 1.5 almost seconds difference. As Pav nearly collects Sarver, but Sarver keeps it clean. Should have the inside for the next corner. Pav screaming past, getting some crazy traction. Tucks back in, but there's no way that Sarver is going to be able to defend this.
He's going to have such a draft going down the straight here.
The Audi showing its legs, though. The Aston can't keep up despite being in the draft. Pav's going to be brave on the brakes. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Sarver says, go ahead and take it. Maybe probably for the best. Oh, my goodness. Evan, you're looking at some fierce battle.
Passage went for a real aggressive dive there and got past Miller, made a little bit of contact, and I think he realized that wasn't the cleanest move, so he handed the position back. So respectful from Passage there, but it's clear he's got pace over Miller. He's just got to find a spot to get it done clean.
As you said,
Amazingly,
contact.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say, as you mentioned contact, Pav and Sarver collecting each other, little door-to-door action. Go ahead, Quig.
I was just gonna say with Miller and Passage battling here, they actually lost a lot of ground to Flo, and now he's back in it within a second as well of the battle. So we have a three-way battle for the lead here.
Evan, show me the rear wing of that Ferrari, because Flo is just peeking in the background. There he is.
He is there.
Pav is getting so many better runs than Sarver out of the corners, he just can't get by. What do you do in this situation, Brooker?
I don't know. It's tough with the Audi right now. It's a whole different beast. It's almost like you have to completely like just race differently against it. And I don't honestly, if I was to be in the car right now, I'd be confused and upset and being like, why is the Audi so strong?
Sarver gets past Gavin Thomas as Gavin looks like he braked immensely early. Now, and then Pav just gets shut out again. More time lost for Pav. He's got to be immensely frustrated. But Sarver back in front. It's looking like he's got more pace than Gavin Thomas at the moment. Maybe he can run away with this and gain a little bit of breathing room from Pav, but trust that Pav's going to be making every effort to get past Gavin as fast as possible. As we see further back in the grid, Connor Farrell picking up a drive-through penalty for track cuts. They're going to start adding up, folks. We are... oh, Pav is up the inside. Who's going to be brave? Oh, side by side through the chicane. I didn't know that was even possible, but Gavin having to cut across that curb loses the traction, so he loses the run out of the corner. Pav through. Pav is going to start chasing down Sarver again as Butler, yellow flag, yellow flag. Oh, he's backwards. He's backwards.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Let's take a look. What happened here, buddy? Oh, just kind of gets pit maneuvered when he's going around a car. That looked like he was trying to pass Jan Rodrigues there. That I don't know who that was, so don't take me out of context. That looked like his car from memory's sake, but gets spun around. He only loses one position, though. Keep pushing, buddy. Good points on the table.
It almost looks like he might have picked up a little extra damage on that as well.
100%. His hood is bouncing even more now. Burtis in the pits. He was in P13 or 14, and he's now dropping down quite a bit. I don't know what that's for. Maybe he just didn't have enough fuel for the race. Or he just collected some damage off screen. But my goodness, that battle for first, second, and third is insane, Evan.
Yeah, this is so tight, and I think the Ferrari might have the best chance coming into turn one. He might have him here. Let's see.
He's got the run. Miller's wisely closing off the inside, but not enough. Well, actually, plenty. Passage does end up backing out. All the while, you know who's catching back up because of all this? Gutierrez. P4.
Oh, here comes Flo.
Flo says, I'm not having it no mo, and just sends it up the inside.
He is covering Passage. Oh, it gives it back.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Same thing as before. Yeah, little bumpy to get it done, so he gave it back.
Here's the problem now, though, that Flo is contesting with that back marker. A little awkward. The back marker does back out, but even more time lost to Gutierrez. 3 seconds in those two corners alone. Gutierrez is back in the mix. He's only a car behind.
And he might have fresh tires here as well.
You're 100%
You're right.
And Philip Menzies in P10 in the pits, serving a drive-through penalty. That is detrimental this late in the game. The front has split up a little bit. I'm going to go back to Sarver because Sarver is still attacking Pav. Oh, as Menzies comes out of the pits. The whole gang is together. Oh, Back marker in the mix. Sarver does get a
Getting
little
violence
bump.
right there.
Menzies gets past the back marker clean, saying, hey, I'm quick. I was in the top 10, served a drive-through, and I'm still just outside of the top 10. Let me have these positions. That back marker did slow down Sarver quite a bit, though. Pav is away clean. Someone we haven't checked in on in a while is Clenceris, just quietly fighting through the grid despite starting in the pit lane. Finds himself in P8. He's only 6/10 back from previously spinning Butler. And Butler is just nursing that damage like previously mentioned. But from this hood, it looks like
Get it done.
Clenceris.
Oh, passage.
Oh boy!
No.
Destination, Barrier.
And that let Gutierrez slip into P2.
Too much curb. You saw the car bottom out, and oh my goodness, Flo does an immaculate job of dodging that. Oh
He
my.
was so close to saving it as well.
He was doing everything he could. Oh, Tyler does a good job of reminding me that Clenceris in P8 has not pitted yet. So he's going, well, rather not pitted in general. So he's going to be getting that 130-second penalty. He needs to do his damnedest to put as much gap between him and the field behind so that he can salvage some position. But the passage 11 seconds back of the previous battle for the front that Evan's covering. But Gutierrez now P2, fresh tires. The huge time loss in the pits has amounted to right back in the mix because of all the battling going on. There is a 3-second difference between Gutierrez and Miller's last laps.
That is very substantial.
The battling and Gutierrez's new tires amounting to that. But these three are just right on top of each other.
Now let's see how wide Miller can make his car through sector 2 and 3 here, and hopefully build a little bit of a gap down the straight, because that seems where Gutierrez really can close a lot of ground.
Flo with the Bentley also looking very stable. If you're Flo, what are you thinking right now? I mean, you got two BMWs battling for their lives in front of you. Are you applying the pressure too, trying to get past, or are you going to let them maybe come together and just sneak by? What are your thoughts?
I would almost just, keep it clean, see what happens with them, because if they're being aggressive with each other and they make contact and go off, like, you can capitalize, and therefore no one's mad at you. You just is able to take advantage of them being aggressive.
Yeah, Flo.
And it looks like Flo's trying.
He's trying his damnedest. As Aoki goes around, I saw he was very close to Rivas Butler here. What happened? Just loses traction again. The curbs are really upsetting these cars. Rivas able to live for another day, keeps driving, holding down P8. Aoki's going to keep going, but now he has to worry about Pav. Pav is closing the gap to him lap after lap. But back up at the top here, we have a crazy battle here. Oh, RG Bargy.
Contact.
Gutierrez, wishful thinking there. Tries to take up a side gig as a landscaping contractor, cutting the grass to get the move done up the inside. Does not work to his benefit, loses out immensely. That brings Passage into the mix for P3 again, now that Gutierrez has fallen back. Flo right on the bumper of Miller, practically pushing him through the apex.
Well, that's exactly what you called Brooker. Just flow, keeping it clean, waiting for them to make the mistakes ahead. Picked off one. Now he's got to get past Miller, who's shown he's a brick wall, able to cover off any car behind him.
Yeah, he's been making that car look so wide, just everywhere on track, and just doing anything he can to keep people behind. He's doing the right thing, everything right. He's just parking the car where he needs to.
He is taking these defensive lines, covering off the inside. It's so hard to get around the outside line here. It's there again, covering off flow. Less than 3 minutes to go. He's got to find some way to get past his BMW.
All right, chat. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Is Miller the defensive clinic he's running? Is he going to hold up for another 2.5 minutes? Or is Flo going to get past? That clearly looks that Flo has got the pace. I mean, he is right in the mix.
Just all over him coming down the street. Ooh, can he be late?
Oh, boy.
Too late.
I think Flo is a little ambitious.
Oh.
Yeah, Flo is a little ambitious trying to break and steal the racing line away from Miller. Miller had rights to the inside line. But clearly Flo's got some pace. Miller knows that now. He's got to be concerned.
We're going to get an extra lap at the end here too, so this isn't the last opportunity to Flo, but he definitely has to close up the gap and get another shot at it.
I think Flo would have gotten that move done if he didn't move under braking, because when you're moving under braking, you're not braking as efficiently. He probably could have gotten the car slowed down and turned in and taken the line away from Miller anyway. But he was trying to do a little bit too much, a little bit too ambitious, putting the car in front while braking at the same time. But he's clearly got the pace. 0.5 a lap faster than the car ahead. But Miller's just shows, if you know where to put the car, sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, this could. Gutierrez is coming in.
Miller says, that was awfully rude of you. I'm going to push you out of my way. Flo says, sorry, not sorry. And then, again, forces the envelope with Gutierrez behind. That brings Jan Rodrix into the mix. This is the final lap.
This could get very spicy. Any accident could completely shake up the top 5.
Miller is nursing this car. It's been battered from everyone trying to take P1 from him. Flo is looking as impatient as always. Not as always, as impatient as ever. And then Gutierrez behind.
Car that spun off up here. Fortunately, Dan Meyer.
Dan Meyer just needs to stay out of the mix of the top 3 here. They are all on top of each other. P1, 2, 3, and 4 within a second of each other. Flo only 0.2 back. Gutierrez 0.3 back. Passage 0.5 back. You see them all in the same shot right here. Hard braking into the chicane. Jan Rodrix has entered the mix as P5 in the Beamer behind. The top 5 are within a second of each other.
This is intense.
What's going on here? All 5 cars in one shot over the wing for the last lap of D3.
Oh, Flo's up alongside.
He tries to close the door early. These two. RG, Bargy, Flo gets by. Miller says, I'm going to take the inside again. Pushes his way. Passage dives up the inside. Takes it from Gutierrez. Miller able to hold it. Oh, Passage collects it. Flo gets tacked out. Maybe Karma just coming back in full swing as we have a McLaren slow on the line. Miller takes the win. Passage a close second. Well done. Gutierrez P3. Jan Rodrix P4. Flo limps across the line in P5. Boisenalt crosses the line. P6, Clenceris, despite not serving a pit stop, is rounding the final corner here for what is tentative P7. He's going to fall down quite a bit. Aoki attacking Butler for the final lap. Butler nursing the car. This is the final. Oh, he's going to beat him across the line. Wow, Aoki for the final corner pass for P8. Butler, P9.
A little further back, Kotovkar and Thomas getting into it for battle for P11.
Pav finishes P8. I think Flo left, so that's going to mix up the grid a little bit. So that's Pav for actually P9. Sarver finishes great, P10. The mix was the curse was not taking too bad today. Gavin Thomas able to hold off Kotovkar. Well done to the both of those drivers. Newcomer Banderi taking P12. Burtis P13. Again, this is all speculative here because the positions have mixed up quite a bit. The other K Miller, Ken Miller, crosses the line, finishing a nice race for him as a newcomer. And our final driver crosses the line, Sky for P20. What a finish!
That was wild.
Yeah. That's got to be the craziest race finish I've ever seen in ACC, without a doubt.
I am worn out. People in the chat saying that the BMW is a tank because it's just taking battle scars the entire last stint there, just getting pushed around. Some other drivers saying Flo was just a little bit too ambitious. He should have been more patient. He probably could have gotten the move done clean and he would have gotten P1. But man, you can just see just the difference in between D1, D2, and D3 and drivers find themselves in that position. There's just a little bit lacking there in that racecraft, and that could have gotten the job done in a different division. Unfortunately, comes out the big loser at the end there, losing several positions on the final corner. But man, what a finish between those five. Awesome job.
Yeah, that was honestly unbelievable to see how much they got spread out going through the pit stops there, and then in those last 5 minutes, just they all grouped together was like unreal to see.
All right, boys, I need to know who we need to be interviewing.
Kyle Miller, that's one for sure.
Definitely Kyle Miller.
All right, let's get them up here if I can. Lots of people in the team chats. Let me see if I can find them. I found one. Okay. Kyle Miller, coming your way, boys. All right. We'll get this interview underway while we look for the other people here. Kyle.
Yeah, hello.
What an absolute battle for the last stint of this race, huh?
For real, seriously. Holy cow, I'm shaking, literally.
We had people in the chat saying that BMW is an absolute tank. It was getting bruised up the entire last stint. Drivers testing you left and right, but you came out on top. Congratulations.
Holy cow, I'm literally, like I said, I'm literally shaking because that is my first win ever in a league race.
What a way to do it, huh? I mean, you put on a defensive clinic. You're showing people that sometimes overall pace doesn't matter if you can put the car where you need it to be. But mega drive from you. Any takeaways from today?
No, not really. I was just proud of what I did. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be dry, but I'm kind of glad I made it like a little setup for when it was dry. So I had that, and I got to hand it to my fuel calculator on that one because I just did a splash and go, but no takeaways.
Well, you did a fantastic job, and I think I could speak for the entire D3 audience in saying that you earned that one.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Definitely.
I said at the end there, Kyle, that was the craziest finish I've seen in ACC, and you were the winner, came out on top. And to hear that's your first win of league racing, man, that's that's an awesome one to get as your first one. So congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The first of many, we hope, yeah?
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Well,
I'm hoping.
I'm sure the Ghost Rider gang back at the factory is going absolutely nuts for you, and they're going to have their hands full fixing that battered BMW. But great job tonight, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure thing, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. Wane off the adrenaline and get some rest. You've earned it.
Thank you.
All right. I got Ryan Passage here also, so we can bring him up. Ryan, great performance from you. We saw that you were able to skirt up into the final podium places because the battle at the top was so intense, slowing them down, and you came out on top. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I was chasing Miller for like 30 laps, and it was some hard stuff.
You proved that just being patient and just waiting for the right timing really lends itself to success. And you proved that driving in the wake of a well-defended driver like Kyle Miller is tough, but you were able to hang in there. So congratulations on that. It's not easy following that close for so long.
Yeah, thank you.
Brooker, you have any questions for the very well astute driver, Mr. Passage?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what was going through your head? 'Cause we actually saw you take too much curb in section 1 there and spin out a little bit. Was there anything that, what were you telling yourself, I guess, to keep going and get back into the position that you got into?
Well, it was kind of a debacle. I was hoping that I would somehow maybe get that inside line, but it's pretty hard there. So it's like I saw him coming. I wasn't really right next to him. I wasn't necessarily trying to dive bomb or anything like that, but I hit that curb and I knew it was over. I was like, no, 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 no. It was at that point I was like, you know what? It was a good race. I was just having a blast.
Right, and then still was able to drive and get a good position out of it still.
Yeah,
it was great recovery.
Yeah, I would say that I would say it confidently. If I was able to get past Miller, I would have had the fastest lap too.
Oh, you really were flying. He just had everyone's number. I mean, he covered you off. He covered off Gutierrez.
It was phenomenal.
He was absolutely clinical tonight. So really tough to get by him. But I mean, you kept your head down, little bobble there, but found your way back to the P2. Can't be too upset with that. I mean, you really showed. Yeah, you had so much pace tonight. Fought your way real hard, and congratulations. P2 is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Congrats again, my friend, and we look forward to having more from you.
Yeah, definitely. I love this league, so it's my second race, and I'm really looking forward to Bathurst next week. It's probably one of my stronger tracks, so I'm gonna be fast, I hope.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on you, that's for sure.
Yeah, most people fear the mountain, so you being excited for it makes you a different breed. But great job again tonight, and we'll see more from you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one. All right, we don't have Gutierrez in the chat, at least not yet. So I have P4 Jan Rodricks. He was able to sneak it from Mr. Flo there at the end, so I'll bring him up. Mr. Rodricks, a very, very busy last couple laps for you, and you're able to close the gap because the battle at the front was so intense, and you're able to snipe P4. How did that all end up for you? I think you're muted, buddy.
Slight technical.
Yeah, I usually drag people up here and they're not too ready for it sometimes, but I think Rodricks maybe is popping the champagne, biting whatever metal the fourth place medal is made out of, going nuts. So, Mr. Rodricks, I appreciate your contribution to this race, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. He's going to watch this back and be like, man, I missed the chance to get interviewed by the Douglas Mitchell. What a missed opportunity there.
Huge missed opportunity.
You know who
The
I
back-to-back champ wants to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm quite
Just silence.
quite humble. I want to interview Flo, but I don't know if he's even in here. There he is. Oh, I need to interview him. I have to interview him. All right. Let's see if he wants to participate. Oh, Jan's
You guys hear
back.
me now?
Yeah. All right.
I use my commentator privileges. Here.
Welcome back. Well, we're glad to have you.
Thanks.
Congrats on P4, and it looks like you sniped it right at the end there for what was a very hectic race. How did it feel for you?
That was one of the craziest races, man. Insane. I'm sure you guys are getting a show there at the end with, I think there was 5 people all going to the line, within a couple seconds of each other. So yeah, it was fun. I unfortunately got spun around early. Not sure who. So it was. I ended up in P15. I think after like lap 2 or lap 3. So it was quite a battle back. So yeah, I feel pretty good about P4.
Yeah, you earned it. And like you said, there was a mix of cars, 5 to be exact, right at the end that were fighting all for podium. It was insane. But yeah, you survived what was a very hectic race, and you made a great points haul today.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Sure thing, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. You too.
Last and certainly not least, Flo. That was a hectic race. A lot of action up and down the grid, and you made your presence known at the top. You were fighting tooth and nail to try and take the win. How did it go for you?
Yeah, the ending obviously wasn't too good. But yeah, hell of a race. They did good. Yeah, I think everyone's pretty, I don't want to say aggressive, but we definitely were fighting at the end there. So that made it a lot of fun.
People were definitely not afraid to get their elbows out at the end there. They were making their statements known that the position was going to be very tough to take. But yeah, thank you so much for putting on a great show for our audience tonight.
Yeah, no, I had the one, I forget the driver's name, Gutierrez. I gave back the position for him because I felt bad because I kind of dive bobbed a little bit too much there. And then I was surprised to get caught back up again with everybody. So yeah, crazy race, good experience. I wish I would have got podium, or at least 1 to 3 anyway. But yeah, good race overall.
Still great points despite, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you were showing that you had some mega pace in that Bentley, and be honest with us. Were you disappointed to not see rain?
So it's funny because I was prepping for rain, and then I had the tune ready to go, and then I was like, if it dry, I have to change it. So I just switched my rain tune to tires, and it worked out better. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice. So again, we were talking about how some drivers are able to adapt well, and they found success in this race, and that's exactly what it sounds like you did.
Yeah, no, it worked out better than I thought. So I always get nervous when you have to change, last minute decision, and then just changing the PSI, bringing it down a little bit, and yeah, it worked out really well. So
Good deal. Evan, you have any questions for Mr. Flo?
I'm all good. I just want to say, yeah, great job. I mean, got real scrappy there at the end, all 5 of you guys, but you really put on the show. That was a lot of fun to watch. You kind of yo-yo with Gutierrez and Miller up at the front for, that battle there. I had the camera on you guys for almost 20 minutes straight, maybe it felt like. So you kept your head clean, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Hope to see you up here again for the season finale at Bathurst.
oh yeah, we'll be there. I'm on vacation next week, so I got lots of practice time.
Perfect.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Really nice of you guys. So thanks again for everything.
Sure thing. Flo, King of the Mountain. You heard it here first.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Well, enjoy the rest of your week, and thanks again for coming out.
Thanks again. Take care.
All right, gents, that is the extent of Division 3's Season 3 Round 7 at Hungaroring. What was supposed to be a wet race was a moist race for different reasons, if you know what I'm saying, because it was that exciting. So that being said, Brooker, do you have any final comments?
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy race. I know we kind of started out the stream talking about me and Evan's thighs a little bit, how thick they are, but I think Kyle Miller showed us how how thick his rear end is in the ending of that race. So, I mean, it's pretty fitting for the race.
Good stuff. I'm looking at the chat here, and Sawyer is in the chat. So I don't know what happened to you, buddy. It looks like you just disconnected after spinning out. And glad you could catch up with us at the end here. And Trackalicious showing us some love, saying great race all. And yeah, that was a crazy finish from everybody. But yeah, thanks again to my two counterparts in the booth here, Mr. Brooker for the first time, and Evan, the staple. And I just want to encourage everyone that's still in the chat at the moment to, just if you're interested in joining, if you aren't already a member of the league, to check out simracingalliance.com. That's where you can find all of our different championships that are ongoing. Join our Discord and whatnot. If you want to show further support for the league, we have the donation links there. And then on top of that, this Twitch stream will eventually make its way to YouTube. On YouTube, you can go ahead, especially on Twitch too, you can follow us here. And then on YouTube, you can follow us and subscribe there. Like, leave comments. We love all your guys' engagement and participation within the league. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Brooker, Evan, thanks again for participating. Any final comments?
That was a lot of fun. That's all I got.
I have to agree. I had a lot of fun. Enjoyed watching the race, and yeah, hopefully we can do it again next week.
Looking forward to it. All right, everybody, enjoy your evening, and thanks again for tuning in. And we'll see you again, not next week, because next week is an off week. We will have a lot of exhibition events, but the following week at previously mentioned Mount Panorama, aka Bathurst, for our season finale. Lots of carnage to be seen. Good night, everybody.